Elon Musk and Donald Trump had a chat on X Monday night. And calling it an interview would be giving it way too much credit. It was exactly as chaotic and pointless as you'd imagine. To kick things off, the whole ordeal started 42 minutes late.
And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late.
Which Musk claimed was due to a denial-of-service attack.
My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial-of-service attack against our servers and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated.
Everyone else, however, was like, no, we think it was just a regular tech mess-up because you screwed up Twitter, but alright. Either way, the delay wasn't nearly as shocking as the fact that neither Musk nor Trump would ever admit to. That's the kind of sin they'd consider even worse than, say, spreading crazy conspiracy theories.
It's all a big hoax.
So what was it like? Boring, and let's be honest, a bit of a cringe fest. It wasn't so much a conversation as it was a self-congratulatory club meeting for the two biggest fans of Donald Trump, Musk and himself. Musk was there, playing the role of an overzealous hype man, occasionally attempting to redirect Trump into something resembling coherence, with predictably little success. For over 2 hours, it was just a sound of two egos having a battle royale, proudly showing off their love for the sound of their own voices. The whole thing was basically a train wreck on a loop. On Monday, Trump made his grand return to X after a dramatic hiatus following the January 6th Capitol chaos. During his break, he set up Truth Social, his personal playground for endless rants and accusations. Musk, in a moment of what could only be described as magnanimous indulgence, decided to lift Trump's Twitter ban. But Trump only resurfaced for a chat on Monday. Here's a fun fact. Trump's follower count on X is like a rock star's audience compared to his Truth Social following. With just over 7.5 million followers on Truth Social and a sleepy X account lurking with 88 million followers, it's clear where the action is. Meanwhile, Musk's account, which hosted the big Trump chat, boasts a jaw-dropping 193 million followers. Talk about a following. Trump's team was out in full force, hyping the event as the biggest interview in history and the interview of the century. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Things only kicked off when Musk started blaming a 42-minute delay on a so-called attack, claiming it showed just how much opposition there is to hearing Trump's voice. They dove right into Trump's assassination attempt, with Musk heaping praise on him like he was auditioning for a new job as Trump's personal cheerleader. Musk declared,
"That is America. That is strength under fire."
And in a moment that captured the essence of their riveting conversation, Musk described Trump shaking his fist as incredibly inspiring and asked,
That was just incredibly inspiring, but what was it like for you?
Trump's response,
Not pleasant, I have to be honest.
Pleasant.
Adding to the spectacle, Trump sounded like he'd stepped out of a lisping competition, a fact that set social media abuzz.
Congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor.
Whether it was a tech glitch or just a quirky moment, it was hard to ignore. For about 20 minutes, they discussed the assassination attempt, somehow managing to make even that sound as thrilling as watching paint dry. Trump's earlier description during the Republican National Convention was way more compelling.
As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell.
And I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear.
Yeah.
And because it hit very hard, but hit the ear.
The conversation then veered off into a rant about illegal immigration. Trump kept trying to circle back to his near miss, but Musk kept pulling him into the immigration debate. Trump recycled his usual fabrications about countries attempting their asylums. He might be confusing psychiatric hospitals with political asylums, and his other favorite gripes. Trump also labeled Biden's decision not to run for re-election as a coup.
And say what you want. This was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said we can do it the nice way or we can do it the hard way.
To which Musk added,
they just took him out back behind the shed and basically shot him.
This level of intellectual discourse was truly something to behold. And if you thought it couldn't get any weirder, one segment was dedicated to tough guy talk about dictators. Musk asked,
immense importance of whether the United States president is intimidating or not intimidating, and how much that matters to global security.
Classic. Long before Musk was busy giving Trump a digital high five, he was already steering his social media ship rightward. His posts and actions on X increasingly leaned into right-wing territory, as he used the platform to stir the global political pot, from butting heads with a Brazilian judge over censorship to denouncing what he calls the woke mind virus, and even peddling the outlandish claim that Democrats are secretly flying in migrants to sway US elections. Musk was on quite the political rampage. In his quest to clean up the banned list, Musk brought back some rather interesting characters, like conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and, of course, Trump. As if on cue, Europe decided to chime in with a preemptive, hey, watch it. Thierry Breton, a French business executive and EU commissioner, sent Musk a friendly warning about the application of harmful content from broadcasting his Trump chat. He urged Musk to keep X compliant with EU laws, including the Digital Services Act, which is basically Europe's way of saying, we don't want any more of that disinformation nonsense. In classic Trump fashion, his campaign spokesman, Stephen Chung, fired back, telling the EU to mind their own business and quit trying to mess with US elections. So there you have it, Musk, Trump, and a little European caution thrown in for good measure. Back to the dictators and strongmen. Trump was full of praise for figures like Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, saying,
they're at the top of their game. They're tough, they're smart, they're vicious, and they're going to protect their country.
Whose side is he on here? Conversation just kept rolling, like a never-ending infomercial. As for Musk's thoughts on the 2024 election, he chimed in with,
I think we're in massive trouble, frankly, with the Kamala administration, and that's my honest opinion. And I think really it's essential that you win for the good of the country for this election.
The rest of the chat was a predictable script. Trump slammed Harris as not being smart. Musk jumped on the bandwagon, complaining about lawfare. Trump claimed Harris couldn't handle this kind of conversation. Musk eagerly nodded along. Both of them took turns attacking President Joe Biden, with Musk lamenting,
I mean, he's clearly like, we just don't have a president right
You
now.
don't have a
That's just
president.
Trump seems to be having a hard time controlling the narrative like he's used to. His recent stumbles, whether it was his cringeworthy appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists,
She was always of Indian heritage until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black.
his wild news conference at Mar-a-Lago, or this latest debacle, make you wonder if he's auditioning for a role in a disaster movie. And then there's the bizarre comparison of Kamala Harris's Time magazine cover drawing to his wife, because of course that's normal behavior.
It was a drawing, and actually, she looked very much like our great First Lady, Melania.
It's like watching a slow-motion car crash. Trump's attempts to recall the spotlight are just making things worse. His team will spin this mess into a dozen different directions, but it's a train wreck of epic proportions. So what's next? Will he outdo himself with something even more baffling? Stay tuned.